Hello, I received the email with a Zoom link.
Can you hear us, Kevin?
I can hear you now, Ryan. I was not able to hear Heidi if she was saying something.
I was just letting you know that I had just resent the link right now because I sent it last week as an
Hello, I
invite, but I wanted to
received
see
the
if everybody
email
had
with a
it.
Zoom link. Okay.
You got a haircut too, Brenda?
What's that?
You got a haircut too?
Yeah, about a week ago. Good thing I did. She's getting ready to go in for surgery.
Yeah.
It was either that or go to the city hall and get a dog license. You know, it just gets away from you after a while, you know?
I have that problem all the time.
I'm glad to hear you do. It's just, you know, I told one of my coworkers, you know, I'm a month behind on getting my car in, getting the oil changed.
I am too.
Sometimes weekends just aren't enough time to get things done.
And a lot of things are
Monday
closing
to Friday.
early or aren't open
Yeah,
on certain
that's
days because
just
of labor
it.
shortages.
You know, the place where I have
I'm falling off.
Did you?
How's everybody?
Doing fine. So right now we only have two committee members on the call. Oh, here's somebody up. No? Yes.
You do have one in person.
Oh, who's there?
Me, Adam.
Okay, hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Good.
Did you see Charmaine's email that she has a medical emergency?
Yes.
How's everybody doing?
Doing fine.
Good, Kevin.
How are you?
Hey, good. Hoping to get the quorum though.
We should have. a
Yeah, I
quorum.
know.
So we've got
Everybody
three
confirm.
of 8.
It's just that one member has an issue for participating.
Two, so we should still have 5.
Any chance, Heidi, we could send out a reminder email real fast? So you just sent out that Zoom link
Yeah.
15 minutes ago. Oh, here comes another member. So that would be 4. And I need to look up the bylaws here unless somebody has them in front of them to find out if a quorum is 4.
We need one more.
One more.
It muted me and wouldn't let me do my video. So now I'm here. Thank you.
Now you're here. Thank you. Right now, we're waiting for a 5th member to join, so we have a quorum.
Okay. There's Don.
Oh, here's Don. Okay, great. Don, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm not going to be on video if that's okay.
Oh, that's fine. But now we have a quorum, so thank you for coming on. And we'll call the meeting to order here at 5:04. And Heidi, if you could do a roll call
Committee member Kevin Dayton,
here.
committee member Carmel York,
Here.
committee member Dorothy Emerson,
Here.
committee member Richard Pagnello, committee member Don Avila,
Here.
committee member Adam Gonzalez,
Here?
committee member Ethelyn Thomas, committee member Charmaine Jones. And we did receive word from Charmaine Jones that she had a medical emergency, so she will more than likely not be joining the meeting. But if she can, she'll join late.
All right. Is there anyone at the office for public comment about items that are not on the agenda?
No, there are no members of the public present.
And is there anyone on the call who, I don't think so, who's a member of the public electronically? All right, move on to review and adopt minutes of the May 4th, 2021 Bond Oversight Committee meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
All right.
Adam Gonzalez seconded. I don't think you heard
Sorry,
him.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Minutes are approved. Receive and discuss the annual report for 2019-20 fiscal year, and I'll pass this off to staff.
Kevin, do you have to do a roll call because it's a Zoom, or is that not required anymore?
Yeah, I was just gonna thank you, you caught me there. Yes, so we can do a roll call, on any vote because we don't have everybody in person. We'll do a roll call for all the items that require a vote.
Okay, that's fine, whatever you want to do. I did a voice vote, but we'll do a roll call.
All right. Committee member Kevin Dayton,
Aye.
committee member Carmel York,
Aye.
committee member Dorothy Emerson,
Aye.
committee member Richard Pagnello, committee member Don Avila,
Aye.
committee member Adam Gonzalez,
Aye.
committee Ethelyn Thomas, and committee member Charmaine Jones. All right, motion passes.
All right, thank you.
All right, now we'll get to the annual report.
Let me turn this in.
Okay, thank you. The annual report, so just to give a little bit of background or history here. So the annual report is the one thing, the document that you produce each year that goes in front of the board. The annual report is what you review all of the financial activity for the bond program. And as a Citizens Oversight Committee, as you review those, you're attesting that everything you reviewed is in compliance with the appropriate expenditures for the bond program. The annual report, I think this is the second time we're reviewing this. The first time we brought it back to the previous meetings for your review, and if there was any changes or corrections you would like to see. And then we typically bring it back after that with those corrections for an adoption or approval by the committee. However, Ms. Jones did request that some further discussion on this item happened around the compliance opinion letter from the Citizens Oversight Committee. It's not a required document, it's not something that you have to do, but she requested that it be brought back to discuss with the committee. And I believe that the compliance opinion was attached to, or you all should have received that, the sample that Ms. Jones provided.
Yes. Well, Ms. Jones is not able to be on the committee call today. Does anybody have any comments about what she submitted?
It seems to me it just lays out the rules and requirements of what we're doing and why we're doing it. And, that would definitely be a nice thing for taxpayers to see that overview and the compliance associated with that. Because I don't believe there is any kind of overview in terms of the compliance on the report itself.
I've seen these reports from various school districts. They vary greatly from, very elaborate things that committee members put a lot of time into to tell you the truth, 2-page reports that really don't say anything much meaningful at all. I don't know, staff, what was your philosophy behind preparing this report and what you wanted to show to the school board?
This is your report, so this is your opportunity to report to the board that you reviewed all of the obligations under which, the duties that you have as a Citizens Oversight Committee, and that you are certified that the district is compliant with, all of the expenditures and everything that you have reviewed. Once again, this document is optional, something that you can do. It doesn't have to even be this format. It could be simple as a letter written from the committee chair and maybe signed by all members. It could be authorized just for the committee chair and the rest of the members to authorize the letter on his own. There's different ways of doing that. Like I said, the report could be submitted as is, and we have done that in the past. You can make your comments here known, and that's also in the public record. And then there also could be opportunity at the board meeting, because we will bring this back to the board as an agendized item. There could also be comments made by the committee members there, and that also would be entered into the record. So there's different ways to handle that. It's really what you would like to see as a committee. It's kind of up to you. I do agree that this is, it's a similar document. It's a small document, right? It's a 2-page document. It kind of makes it clear for you. But it's up to the committee's discretion if they would like to use it or not. Once again, it's not required.
This is Dawn. Since Committee Member Jones had requested this, don't you think it might be appropriate to push this to the next time that she can present on why and any of her, this was talked about by her. So that's what I feel comfortable with, but I don't know if anybody else feels the same way. It's a pretty basic document, but there might be more to it from her perspective.
When are we
Ryan, what is
supposed to
the,
present this to the board?
I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Dawn, or Carmel.
Carmel,
Repeat
when
that,
do we,
Carmel?
what's the deadline for presenting this?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Mhm.
There's no hard and fast deadline, so this is the annual report from the 19-20 fiscal year. We just started, in July, we started the 21-22. So we always do these a year following, so, we are actively working on the 2020-21. This is the financial report or the annual report, but remember, this always follows the year end. So we just ended the 2021 fiscal year. We're closing out the books, finalize all the documentation, and then we'll prepare that to be brought back to you as a draft. I believe our next meeting is in November. So there's no clear, you don't have to have this approved by a certain date, but keep in mind that if we do, there wasn't up for approval tonight. So if we do bring this back for discussion only at the next Citizens Oversight Committee, which is in November, we actually wouldn't have approval until sometime in 2022 because we only meet quarterly.
So is this basically we're rubber stamping the audit bond report that we received from Christy White? I mean, so how, what is the purpose of having a report like this coming from us? Considering we get, isn't that what we do, is we look at the audit and what they've done and compare it to the annual report, and then from that just come up with a conclusion that hopefully is the same as she has?
Yeah, so the independent auditor, we're required to have an independent auditor audit the bond activity and the fiscal activity for the bond. That's separate from your role as a Citizens Oversight Committee. You have a role to review the expenditures of the bond to make sure that they were in alignment with what bond expenditures can be spent on, and they were in alignment with the bond language around what went to the voters. The annual report is a requirement of the Citizens Oversight Committee, so one must be produced for each fiscal year and submitted to the board for adoption. So that is a requirement in law. Now, how that report is presented and how that report's compiled, there's a lot of ways that can be accomplished. What we have here is one of the more common ways. We actually contract with a firm called Key Analytics. They help school districts across the state develop these annual reports, and this is a format that has been well received in other districts and by other boards. And so I think this is our second year doing it in this format. In the previous year, like I said, that was something that was a nice change to see that how we presented the information. But to go back to the first part of the question, it is a requirement that each year that the Citizens Oversight Committee do adopt an annual report to go to our school board for approval.
So the question at hand is, do we kick it out another quarter and spend time on the letter? But there in any of our past meetings, there has not been any findings that anything is out of compliance. So I think this letter would just be, stating that, right? So I don't know that the letter is that important since, we didn't have any, or I'm not aware, I didn't have any findings, and I'm not aware of anybody else. If someone else has findings that they want to put in the letter, then they should let the committee know. Otherwise, if there are no findings, I think the letter becomes less important.
Agreed.
And since Charmaine Jones isn't here to defend why she felt it was important, then I think we need to, maybe we could put a vote as to whether we kick this out another quarter and and have Charmaine present this, or if we approve this as is now and move forward. And then the next year we'll have an opportunity from the beginning to develop that.
I'd like to hear what Charmaine has to say.
Sorry, Ms. Anderson. Good job there.
Ryan, do you believe that any school board members or the superintendent would be concerned if we delayed this for yet another 3 months?
I do not have a concern with that. I will say that the item this evening is actually not up for any kind of, it was just a discussion item. So it really was to have this dialogue and give us direction on what you would like to see. So that was the item before you this evening. So there wasn't anything on the agenda for an approval. Moving it out to November, it should not be an issue. We would just need some direction from you all, how you would like us to agenda that for the next. Would you like us to just table this discussion that we're having now and push that to November? Or would you like us to bring back a formalized document and then bring it back for review and approval in November?
Committee members?
We move this to November for discussion, so we can understand where Shemaine's coming from, and then we can decide if someone wants to present that, because that the time when we would approve this, right? We're getting feedback, we're going to suggest changes, and then you would present the final report in November. Is that correct?
Soon as the committee has adopted their annual report, then it would go on a subsequent board meeting. We have board meetings, school board meetings every other week. So it would make it, if this was approved in November, potentially it could make a board meeting in November or early December.
And could
I had a quick question. Did Tremaine communicate with anybody via text or email the specific questions she had about our roles and responsibilities, or was it just kind of like a general, for general information?
I believe Ms. Gaddy has some information that Ms. Jones had shared prior.
So at the previous meeting, committee member Jones indicated that in her research of the roles and responsibilities of a Citizens Oversight Committee through the, let me give you the exact verbiage so I don't chop it up. In her review through the California Association of Bond Oversight Committees, it would seem that the best practice is to include a compliance letter that's drafted by the committee members and submitted to the Board of Trustees. So it's just her trying to understand her role as a committee member, so she was doing her own independent research, and this is what she found, and then brought back to us for further discussion.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Charmaine is I think wisely looking at information that a group formerly known as the California League of Bond Oversight Committee, California League of Bond Oversight Committees does as best practices. And I'm familiar with that group. In fact, I was on their advisory board when it was first formed 15 years ago. I think that some of the things she's concerned about and some of the school districts that she's citing as, why to do this are school districts that have traditionally had some problems with fiscal responsibility and management. And while, it's always good to be, monitoring and following things, I think that some of the issues that have come up there regarding those school districts are not things that we have seen in this particular school district. So, I didn't, what she's saying, I didn't get all panicked about it and said, oh no, yeah, we better move on this. But I know some of the school districts that have done this sort of thing that she's mentioned are ones that have perpetual problems. They're well known for waste and independent audits that show problems, performance audits that show problems. This is not the West Contra Costa Unified School District, which is one of the school districts that is frequently mentioned as, well, you need to do this or that because this is what that school district does. So keep that in mind. As was mentioned earlier by other committee members, we look through these pretty carefully, and I haven't seen any signs of anything yet that's concerned me. But what we could do is, I'm a little hesitant to provide the school board with a 2019-2020 report for voting in 2022, excuse me. It would be nice if we could actually have it done in 2021 so that we could say, yeah, in 2021, we put the 2019, 2020 report behind us. So is there a way for us to have discussion and maybe have a action item to approve it, but include in there in the report that comes before this committee, a few different options that can be considered and added in? And that way, if, you know, we could also do some minor amendments to the material as needed. Maybe, I think that's what I would like to do, because I don't want to stretch this out too long. What if we have another meeting and Ms. Jones is unable to attend again?
Yeah, then we have something lingering. It's best just to deal with it, and in my opinion, that way we can move forward.
Yeah, I agree. We should move forward, and then the next one we will start fresh, and we can start a committee or whatever needs to be done in order to have that done well in advance, along with the report, so that it's part of the whole process rather than coming in at the very end and trying to put it together.
So I think the motion that has been, well, actually hasn't been seconded yet. So we could have a motion done here to say that we would like to bring a proposal up for action for presentation to the board at the next meeting.
Well, we're just reviewing it now, right? We're not approving this. Are we? We're reviewing it, right? To see if there's any changes.
Discussing. So I don't need an actual formal motion. I just need consensus and direction. So if the committee would like it to give us, if we would like to table this discussion and bring it back as an action item at the next Citizens Oversight Committee with, it sounds like options for cover letter from the committee. Is that what I heard? Or would you like to table this discussion and have it as just a discuss again at the November Citizens Oversight Committee meeting? And the other option is too, is if everybody's calendars align, we could schedule a meeting between now and November to bring this back and have this as a discussion to get this approved in November.
Is it possible to get feedback from her prior to our meeting in November so that we can get a better idea of what it is she's trying to accomplish with this? Did I totally miss what's going on now? Have we moved on from that?
Well, we have to be careful of Brown Act violations here. So we can't really, she would have to bring this before the committee or give it to staff in advance so that it would be part of the
Exactly.
packet.
So at least we'd have something to work with. So prior to the next meeting, otherwise, as I guess someone said that, you know, if she doesn't show up in the next meeting, what, you know, we're the same thing over again. So I don't want to keep postponing.
So
Probably the best motion would be just to continue this item to the next meeting, and then staff can work with Ms. Jones for her to submit an example of a letter that she thinks should be, you know, included with it. That would help show the public and the school board that we're doing our job. And then that can be discussed and either included as amended or not included with the version that we say is okay to go to the board at the next meeting in November. So I think a simple motion would just be to continue the discussion to the next meeting.
I move to continue the discussion in the next meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Discussion.
Can we please clarify who made the motion and who seconded it, please?
Carmel moved it, Dawn seconded.
Correct.
Thank you. To table the discussion to the next meeting.
Okay.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Oh, that's right. Let's do a roll call. Excuse me. Heidi, you'll have to do a roll call.
Committee member Stephen Dayton,
Aye.
Committee Member Carmel York,
Aye.
Committee Member Dorothy Emerson,
Aye.
Committee Member Richard Pagnello, Committee Member John Avila,
Aye.
Committee Member Adam Gonzalez,
Aye.
Committee Member Ethelyn Thomas, and Committee Member Jermaine Jones. Motion passes.
All right.
So we will bring this item, again for discussion at the November 3rd board meeting.
Yes, and if staff can work with Ms. Jones to get the copy of the letter that she wants considered, that would be great.
Okay.
I'm assuming that there's nobody in the room still at the district office for public comment.
There is
Okay.
nobody present for public comment.
Future meeting dates. We have it set for November 3rd. I think unless staff, you hear from the superintendent or the board that they want to speed up this particular report or have some other concern, we can keep it on November 3rd.
Perfect.
Committee member comments. All right, well, I think at this point, we will adjourn and we'll meet again on November 3rd to take action on the annual report for 2019, 2020. And we have you mentioned that the report for 2020, 2021 will be coming up soon too. What meeting do you expect that to come up? The first one in 2022?
We should have a draft in by the next meeting.
Very good.
By the way, thank you for changing all of the other to actual fees on that. That really made a big difference in the report. So thank you. That was probably a lot of work.
Any of the feedback that you have, definitely we'll try to incorporate as much as we can, given some of the limitations of the software. But absolutely, please always provide that feedback.
Great. Move to adjourn.
Bye, everyone.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned 5:30.
Bye.
Bye.